Being locked away from all the things you enjoy is a difficult phase. It's like being in a privileged prison, but a prison nonetheless. This feeling of anxiousness comes from lack of knowledge, uncertainty, and an information overload. But hey, listen, just take a deep breath. Because once you feel like you've hit the bottom, the only way out is upwards. Hello everyone, welcome to the 13th episode of our podcast Pepper Spotlight. My name is Pawan Rochwani, and in this episode, we just want to share a message to the entire creative community. Let me just start this by saying how I have been feeling in the past few days or few weeks. And I've been noticing that information about the dire state of the country is flooding every news channel, newspapers. Every social media post is a cry for beds, medicines, and oxygen. And in an attempt to distract myself from all of this, I just turned my attention to the only Friends I have access to, which is the sitcom Friends on Netflix. But my mind did not find solace in that as well. Well, my body was seated in a lousy posture watching the happiest sitcom known to the mankind, but my brain remained tuned to the pandemic frequency. The 6 friends sit in the coffee shop and make jokes about Ross dating a teenager. A hilarious episode indeed, but my brain thought that why are they not wearing masks or keeping distance? The news of death, defeat, and distress is overwhelming for the creative mind. And the information around us is ingrained into our minds, and I think it's nobody's fault that I feel worried or distracted. Because, and this is something I actually read, that more than 82% of all Indians today are living under stress. And this statistic shows that you are not alone, and it's normal to feel the way that you do. We already live our lives dealing with a daily dose of strains, be it your job, income, fitness, relationship, or much more. And now there is this deadly second wave of COVID-19. But what is something that we as individuals can do to keep ourselves just sane in these difficult times, and just keep ourselves focused or not get too overwhelmed by this entire situation? And here are some things that have worked for me personally, and some other creative folks that I also know in the entire community. So we're just going to share these few examples of some practices and habits that you can inculcate for maybe next few months. I hope this pandemic ends sooner, but I think you will have to adapt to these habits and practices for a longer period of time. And the very first one out of all of these tips, or let's say practices, that we are going to share today with you all, I think the most prominent and the top priority should be that just make sure that you are safe and comfortable. Stay indoors as much as you can. Do not make plans that jeopardize your health or those around you. If you live with your family, enforce the same caution to all of them. If you live alone, keep your thoughts aside and call your friends and family every moment if you feel the need for it. It also helps to remind yourself why you are doing what you do. I think you should create and do whatever job you are at because you love doing it and not because a deadline demands it. I think especially for content creators, and if you're a freelancer, it's just very reaffirming to yourself that you genuinely love doing what you're doing. And now the second thing that I feel, which is very, very important to be addressed to the entire creative community, is that we need to resolve the two causes behind this restless state of mind that we feel sometimes because of the entire situation. One is lack of knowledge about the entire scenario that's going out there, and sometimes like an information overload about the scenario that's going out there. And I know this is like a really conflicting state of mind sometimes, and conflicting reasons. But how can you make yourself more aware about the entire situation and get access from credible sources of information is very, very important in this entire pandemic situation, because sometimes you just believe on what's being sent to you by a very close friend of yours on WhatsApp, and you just believe that automatically. But I think do not believe what you see on WhatsApp, and please don't advise others to even share it forward. read up or watch reliable videos about the cause and the treatment of the virus, the vaccine, and the steps to remain safe. Spend just an hour or two knowing all that you need and then stop. I think something that I personally follow is just get information about what's happening in the entire world or in the country is through the newspaper in the morning, and then I don't check any news apps or check out any IG stories about these news channels or any of those things, or not even checking Twitter trending. And I think that just keeps me sane and little focused throughout the day while I'm working or just reading something or watching something. So I think making yourself aware is very, very important, but not at the extent of getting an information overload. Now, the third thing that we want to share as a tip or a practice that you can inculcate during these times is, and this is something that has worked for me in the past quite often, and a lot of creative folks that I know, they have also tried to do this, that whenever they get too overwhelmed by the situation or their work, they just start a new side hobby or a new passion project, or just try to read something that of a category or a genre that they might never read, or watch a movie that's completely out of their taste, and that's just something that gives them a little new excitement altogether. To bring in a little entrepreneurial outlook to this, major companies like Airbnb, WhatsApp, Groupon, and also the Indian giant like Flipkart started in the middle of the financial meltdown of 2008. It's because a crisis gives a builder the time to step back and examine the world around them. So just start something new if the work overwhelms you. Create the career you always wanted to. Make that video, shoot that script, write that book, finish that blog, and your options are endless. Maybe just go ahead and start a podcast of your own or anything. Like just maybe take some time off and try to start something new, or just try your hands at something new. If you're a musician, maybe collaborate with another musician. If you are a painter, maybe just start writing also something alongside, like a photo stories or like a paint stories about what you're creating, and just upload it on Instagram or maybe talk about it on YouTube. If you've always planned to start a newsletter or create a website, maybe this is like a good time for you to just step back, take some time off, and create something new that you wanted to, or something that you always wanted to read and you just want to start that. I think no better time than currently to try your hands at something new, because many creators also use this time to upskill themselves. It's the same reason we all learned how to cook during the first lockdown. And I think now our history is going to be recorded as first lockdown, second lockdown, and all of those things. But this is the time that you have. And I think at the end of the day, what matters is how you utilized your time, irrespective of if it was the first one or it's the second lockdown, or I hope there is no third lockdown. Now, there are multiple other things and some mind techniques that we want to share with you all. But at the same time, I don't want to make this like a very, very long episode for everyone. So what we're going to do is just attach a link in the description of this episode. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Hubhopper, Anchor, Gaana, JioSaavn, any of the apps that you have, you'll find a link in the description of this episode where we have compiled all the lists about how can creators and artists, keep their creativity flowing during this global pandemic. What is a flow state, and how you can maybe just start doing small exercises at home, and some other techniques that might be very, very useful for you to just keep yourself focused during this entire pandemic situation, because it just gets too draining and exhaustive sometimes to just feel this uncertainty and this restless state that we are in currently. So I'm just going to compile a list of all of these great resources that we have found, and I think some of these things really, really work well. And so just go in the description of this episode and you will find like a blog link that we're going to compile all of these techniques and habits and practices that might be very, very useful for all creators. And if any of these things worked for you, if any of these tips or practices have worked for you, please share this with other creators. It's very, very important that we together come and start practicing and become part of this entire community altogether. It's this community is not like you go ahead and subscribe here or anything of that sort. It's really about the vibe and the connect that we feel with every creator who's out there, every artist who's out there. So don't hesitate to share this with other folks that are in your network. And anytime if you feel we at Pepper Content can be of any help or support to you, just hit us a DM on Instagram. It's @pepper_content, or just email us. You can even reach out to me directly. It's completely okay. And I think we are always there for the creators, and we would want to be there always, because that's what we really believe in. We don't just talk about the creator economy, we really believe in that. And I think the next 5 years are really, really very, very important for the entire creator ecosystem. And we don't want this second wave of COVID-19 to affect what the future holds for us. So just take care of yourself, and anytime if you feel that we as a team can be of any help to you all, just feel free to reach out. My name is Pawan Rochwani, and this is the 13th episode of our podcast Pepper Spotlight. There's a high probability that we might be taking a small little break from the show, because I think we have also figured out taking break from work and taking time off from work is very, very important. And I think we are also going to exercise that tip that we are sharing with each one of you. But we'll keep you all posted about it, and we'll maybe see you again next Wednesday. And I'm attaching the word maybe with when I'm saying that. So, but take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and we hope this too shall pass very soon.